TextHelp. She is going to be talking us through Read and Write, which is something that's available for all of you and all of your pupils in the school as well. So Jim has started recording the meeting as well, so just to make you aware of that too. And without further ado, I will pass over to Hayley.
Thank you very much. So hi everyone, Julia, thanks so much for introducing me. Yeah, so my name is Hayley Butler and I'm from TextHelp, and we provide software to all schools throughout Aberdeenshire called Read and Write. So some people maybe have used it before, some people are maybe new to it. I'm going to be doing basically like a refresh run through, sort of welcome back into September, just refresh on the toolbar. So let me just share my screen. I'm going to do just a quick demonstrate, just a quick presentation, and just introduce myself and just show you just a little bit about what Read and Write does and how I can support, and then I'll move into a demo. Like I said, this meeting is being recorded, so hopefully you should receive a recording afterwards. What I'll do as well, if you want it, you can pop any questions that you have into the chat box. I may not get to them sort of straight away. What I normally do is sort of crack on with the training and the demo in the first instance, and then I'll answer any questions at the end. But feel free to pop them into the chat whenever, if they pop into your head. I know whenever I'm in meetings and I'm like, oh, I should have asked that question halfway through, different things. So please feel free to pop them in. So let me just share my screen now. Signed screen. There we go. I'll just double check. Can everybody see that okay?
Yep, we can see that.
Yep.
Perfect. So here I am here. I'm a customer success specialist. So I've been working with Aberdeenshire for I was about to say how many years it was there, but I can't even remember now off the top of my head. I've been with TextHelp for 5 years, so it's definitely at least 5 years. So I am on hand if you have any queries after today, if you've got any questions, or if you want a few more resources or different things, please feel free to get in touch. I'll be happy to help and provide any support going forward. My details there are up on the screen if you wanted to jot them down, but I'll be putting these on at the end as well. So as I said, I'm part of TextHelp. We provide different tools for education, and the one that we're going to be focusing on today is Read and Write. We believe in inclusive education and create digital tools for inclusive learning, because obviously we believe that education is for everyone. We're very aware that students learn in different ways, in their own unique ways. So by giving them access to these tools, it allows them to choose to learn in a way that works for them. We know everybody learns differently, but whenever inclusion is done right, all students can benefit. So Read and Write, we're going to be looking at Read and Write for Google Chrome today. So what it is a toolbar with 20 plus different features on there, which I know can be a little bit overwhelming. So I'm going to be including some tips to introducing it to students as well. But it's a literacy support tool that offers help with everyday tasks like reading text out loud, understanding unfamiliar words, researching assignments, and proofing written work. So there are some things that can be used by teaching staff as well, and that's some things I'm going to show you. Read and Write is something that I use on a day-to-day basis, even with work. I listen to it to read big pieces of text out loud to me if I find it a bit overwhelming. We also have a coloured overlay, which I find really useful for visual stress if I've just been looking at a screen for too long and it's been very, very bright. I just like to have that sort of coloured overlay. But it's just to show you that these tools, although of course they are necessary for maybe some students, and you can probably think of students that will need this sort of right away, but we do say that any student can benefit from using this. There's help with reading and writing support, so it gives students the choice on how they access and engage with content. They're not relying on teachers to, be there all the time. They're allowed to work in that more independent way, and it really gives students the autonomy to work in a way that is best for them and their learning. Students with SEN, this is a lot of the times whenever people think of Read and Write, they automatically will go to this scenario with supporting those students with the SEN, and it is really, really useful for that, as well as any students who have English as an additional language, or any students with a mild visual impairment. there is specific accessibility tools alongside the reading and writing tools, and it just helps to create a level playing field for all students. Like I said just before, this is one of our main mottos at TextHelp with our tools. Necessary for some, but useful for all. So whenever you are looking at the tools today, just think about in a wider range that every student can access this, whether that be on their school device or at home as well. So let's go into an overview of the toolbar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a document here, and I'm just going to move this down here so it's out of my way. So you'll see I've got Read and Write open at the minute, but just in case you maybe haven't opened Read and Write before, or you maybe haven't utilised it before, it'll just be a little purple puzzle piece pinned to your extension. If it's not pinned, although I think it may be, if it's not pinned, you can search for it in your extensions, as it has been pushed out and can be used by anybody within Aberdeenshire. So if I click into the extensions, you will see, sorry, 2 seconds, you will see Read and Write for Google Chrome, and you can pin that there. And it just makes it easier whenever you are going on to do work and you're going on to use the toolbar, just to have access to that straight away. And that's also the way students will use the software. So if I click on this, it's going to, in the first instance, it'll probably open up just a little puzzle piece here with a little drop down arrow. And if I click on that, you'll see the toolbar open on my screen here. Now, I know, even from personal experience, whenever I first started working for TextHelp, whenever I looked at this toolbar, I was like, I will never wrap my head around all those different things. They provide all different accessibility support, but I know it is a lot of things to grasp and understand in the first instance. So, and that obviously, never mind students using that. Students who are learning new things every day, again, we don't want to overwhelm them with too much information and too many things to learn on top of their studies. So what you can do is you can limit down this toolbar to only show certain features. So I always recommend, whenever you're first introducing it to students, if you do think that they're going to struggle with that amount of different tools available, you can go into the settings option here, which is just the 3 dots on the toolbar on the right hand side. If we click into settings, and we'll go here into general. Oh, sorry, no, apologies, that's not right. I was thinking the other one. If we go into settings and then go to features, you'll see here all my features are currently toggled on. Now you can very easily just toggle those off. You can see there at the top of the screen, my toolbar is getting much smaller. And if I close out of that, obviously there's not as many tools there, not as overwhelming. Allow students to get comfortable with using those tools in the first instance. And then once they are using them, on a more regular basis, you can introduce those other features and those other tools again. What I'm going to be doing at the end is sharing a link to our TextHelp Academy. And within TextHelp Academy, you've got a quick reference guide. So don't worry if you're, again, if it is a bit overwhelming and there's quite a lot of different things there. The quick reference guide just has a little snippet of what each thing does. And so I can share that link at the end. So if I click into my settings, I'm going to turn these back on just for the purposes of the demo. And this is done on an independent level. So this can be done for a student's profile, and whenever they sign in again, any changes that they've made to the toolbar will be saved, and that will be the same for yourself as well. Whenever you're utilising the Read and Write toolbar, if you make any changes within the settings, they'll be saved for the next time you sign in. So let's come out of this, and the first thing that I want to show you is one of the key features of Read and Write. It's the one thing I would probably say gets used the most. It's something that can be used on a daily basis, and it can be used again by anyone, utilised by anyone, and that is text-to-speech. So if I want this to start reading, if I want the toolbar to start reading the document, I've got it open here, and it's going to click where I want it to start reading and hit play.
Gladiator fights were first introduced in 264 BC at the funeral of a nobleman, Junius Brutus.
Now, I'm hoping you could hear that, but I know sometimes with any video calls, Teams, Google Meet,
Yeah,
sometimes.
we can hear that. We can hear it.
Could you? Wow, okay. Yes, brilliant. So you could hear that speaking in the Scottish voice there. So those are some new voices we add. Well, I say they're new, they were added in last year. But there are lots of different speaking voices which you can choose from. And students again can choose from this themselves. So it's about adding that sort of personalized way of learning so students can work in a way that's best for them. We've had feedback recently that a lot of students like to listen to American speaking voices because they've gotten so used to sort of YouTube voices and different things. But again, it's down to personal preference. So if I click into the settings, so it's the three dots on the right hand side, and I go into speech, you'll see here my voice is currently set to female Heather. If I click on the drop down and I scroll down, you'll see there are lots and lots of different voices that you can choose from. You can also then select and change the speed. So you can slow the speed right down. You can, make that a bit faster if you prefer. Again, it's just down to personal preference and just making that personal for the student. If I click out of this now and I hit play.
Gladiator fights were first introduced in 264 BC at the funeral of a nobleman, Junius Brutus.
And obviously it's going to read that text back then with that speaking voice. And you can also see there the dual coloured highlighters, which really helps with student comprehension. It allows them to focus on the sentence that's being read and then obviously able to focus on each individual word as it's being read. That text speech can also be used on websites. So I'm just going to open up this website here and say I want to have this text read out loud. I just select it and hit play.
A volcano is an opening in the Earth's crust where hot liquid rock from deep within the Earth, called magma, erupts to the surface.
So students don't need to use different programs to have the text read out loud. It's the same across the board. So whether they're on, Google Pages, whether on Word documents, slides, Google Documents, then they can have that text read out loud as long as it's accessible. So I'm going to move back into my Word document now, and we're going to have a quick look at the dictionary features, which are part of the toolbar. So with the dictionary features, all the student needs to do is click the little book icon. So they can have that sitting open on the screen, or they can do it, individual for each word, whatever they prefer. I think sometimes it's quite nice having it open on the screen just to give that sort of added support whenever students are maybe coming up against unfamiliar words or things that they're unsure of. They're unsure how to pronounce different words. They can have that dictionary box just sitting open. And they can also have the picture dictionary open as well. So if I click here, we can have it open alongside. You'll see, obviously, these boxes can be moved around, again, whatever works best. And now if I click into a word, what that's going to do is going to bring me up the dictionary definition, and it'll normally bring up just a wee sort of picture image, a very sort of simple image. And the reason for the simple images is because it obviously works across the board. So if you have any EAL students who maybe struggle, having that sort of simple image icon just gives that added visual aid whenever they're coming up against obviously new words. So they can listen to the word being read out loud.
Gladiator.
They can also listen to the definition.
Noun. Ancient Rome, a professional combatant or a captive who entertained the public by engaging in mortal combat.
And with the picture image, these can be inserted directly into documents. So it's literally a case of drop and drag. So if I click on this, select that, and that's going to go straight into the document. And you'll see there, I've clicked away from the word gladiator and I've clicked onto another word, and straight away it's just brought up the definition. It's brought up the little image. So as I'm clicking through the document, I don't even need to highlight or select the word. I can simply just click into the middle of any word, and that's going to bring up that dictionary definition along with picture image. So if we wanted to go one step further with the dictionary and picture dictionary, you do have the ability to create your own vocabulary list. So let me just delete this little image here, and I'm going to close down the dictionary and picture dictionary just for the demo. And I want to show you how you can select different words from a document. So again, if a student is coming up against unfamiliar words, or if you wanted to create a vocabulary list, you can do it from a document. And this can also be done on websites. So let me just show you this. So if I select here, and I am selecting the word and I'm clicking on our highlighters here. So I've just selected yellow, but you'll see whenever I go to collect that it'll ask me what color I want to select. So if you were, doing different categories of words, you can highlight them in different colors and then select just whatever color is relevant. So let's grab a few more. And I'm going to hit this button here, which is vocabulary list. And you can see there, whenever I go to select it, I've got the options, the colors to collect. So if you have highlighted, certain words in different colors, you can collect them separately, or you can collect them together. Again, all down to preference. And if we hit OK, you can see there's a little box comes up there, create vocab list. And what that's going to do, that's going to create a new Google document with a table, which will have the word that we've selected. It'll have the meaning and the definition, and it'll have the little picture icon alongside it. And because it brings you through to a Google document, it means you can add in any notes, you can add in any information, you can add in extra columns, extra rows, different things. You're allowed, you can edit that as much as you need to. And again, this is going back just to giving students that independence. If students are struggling with learning new work and learning new words that they're struggling with, and they really want to, they want to look at that a bit more and see what that word means, they can highlight a document as they go through. Same for websites. So if we click into this website here, and I am going to select a few words, and again, use our highlighters. I'm just double clicking on these words and then clicking onto our highlighters. And then if I click vocabulary list, it's going to ask me what colors to collect. If I hit OK. And similar to the last time, it's going to open up a new document where it's brought me through the meaning of each word. And you can also, so if students want to add in their own images, they can do, or if they want to add in any notes, they can. If, for example, it doesn't have, the picture image that you were looking for, if I double click on this word here, it's magma, there's a button here for web search. So I can just search a word very quickly. And then we can grab, we can grab images, and you can insert that then into a document. So there's lots of different ways you can utilize dictionary and picture dictionary, and obviously creating your own vocabulary list is very, very simple to do using Read and Write. So to clear those highlights then, I'm going to just select this text, and there is a little brush here, and that'll just erase any highlights that you have. Looking further at the highlights, so if we wanted to grab bigger pieces of text and bigger pieces of information, the same way you would, I mean, I don't know about you, but whenever I was younger, I just used to highlight everything on a page. I don't even know what I got from it, but with this, you can be a bit more selective in what you highlight and ensure that obviously that information is right. So if we were, say, to select this paragraph here, and then we maybe only wanted this sentence, and then we'll go down here and grab another couple of sentences. And there's a button here, so it's just a little circle of arrows. And if we hit that, it's going to, again, sort highlights. And we're going to collect them. And that's going to open up a page with just that highlighted text. But it's also brought me through the link where that information came from. And if I show you just here quickly how that would work on a website, just so you can see how it brings you through the website link. So if we select that text and hit collect. So this is really useful. Again, it's really useful obviously for study and research and different things, but it's really useful for you as teachers being able to put together resources and different things. You can select text from websites. You're not having to, go down and click, copy, paste, all that there. You can just highlight the text, hit a button, and that information will go through to the document. And now it'll also bring through the link where that came from. So if I click on that link from that document, it's going to bring me straight back to the website where that information came from. So going to close some of these tabs down. I've got quite a lot open. And we're going to just remove highlights again. So again, I'm just selecting the text, and if I just hit clear highlights. Next thing we're going to look at is screen masking tool. So with screen masking tool, it provides that colored overlay for students. And again, that can be personalized to exactly what the student needs. So if they have been given a specific color that they need, then they can select that in the settings. So you can see there, I've turned it on. I currently have my reading ruler turned on. But if we go here, I'm going to show you how you can change the settings. So my background is currently set to blue, but again, there's lots of different colors here to choose from. And if a student has a specific color, then they can type it in there. Same for the reading light. If students want to have that reading light with a color, they can select that, or they can have that clear. You can also change the reading light height, so we can make that smaller. And what we've been told recently is that students do like to have this for the focus, so they can use the reading light, similar to if you were to use like a ruler on a page, they can use the reading light to read and read through paragraph sentences, so they can make that a bit bigger. If we were let's make that just a teeny bit bigger. And students can then focus on one paragraph at a time, or even if they want to go even smaller, they can focus on one sentence. Again, that all the screen masking settings can be personalized to whatever the student needs. And then to turn that off, we just toggle that off. We're going to have a look just at a few web tools. So as I've shown you, there is a lot of the tools you can utilize on web pages, but one tool that I just want to draw your attention to, which is only available on websites, is our Simplify tool. So let me just remove this. So at the minute you can see there, now this is just a website which I had found, which has lots of different adverts. It's got lots of different links, lots of different distractions and things that maybe will distract and defer the child from whatever it is that they're working on or that they're learning. Or even if you are showing something on a projector screen, you don't want to obviously have to see all the adverts and different things. So we have a Simplify button. And what that's going to do is that's going to take the text from this page and it's going to open it up in a new web page. And it's just brought through the text from that website. So if we, sorry, I'm just going to move this here in case you can't see. You can see there, we can change the font size, so we can make that text a bit bigger. We can change the actual font of that text. We can change the color. So you may prefer to have it in black and white. Students may prefer to have it in black and white. Or there's also blue on yellow, yellow on blue, or black and white, whatever's preferred. So you can see there we have went from this page with, now even though this is obviously an education page, there is different adverts and different things, but what we've done is taken all this text and brought it into a nice simplified clean page which means that students can focus on the text that they're reading as opposed to anything else that's on that website. There's also on this page a Discover button. So if I turn the Discover button on, what that will do is that's going to underline any sort of keywords and phrases. So maybe new things that a student hasn't come across before, or new phrases that they're maybe not sure what that means. And what that'll do is I'll underline in purple. And if I click on that information, it's just going to give me just a little bit more detail. So we call it sort of learning within learning. Students can learn just that little bit further from whatever it is that they're looking at. So again, if I click here on Magma, you can see it's just going to give me just a little bit more info on what that actually is. And again, if I want that to be read out loud, we can just go back to our toolbar and hit play.
Magma is the molten or semi-molten natural material.
And with this page as well, you can use all the read and write tools. So you can have the dictionary page and the picture dictionary open. And if I double click on a page, that's going to open then in the dictionary. So it just gives that nice, clean visual whenever students are learning, and takes away all that bump that may cause a bit of a distraction and lead to jumping on other websites and different things. So let's come out of the simplify page, and we're going to go back into our document, and there's a few more accessibility pieces that I want to show you. So we have our audio maker tool. So I personally think I would have really benefited from this whenever I was studying at uni, because it's or even studying in general, because I was one of those ones that my mum always told me to, after you've wrote something down, read it out loud and make sure it sounds correct. Students can turn any piece of text into an audio file with Read and Write. So if they have done maybe a bigger piece of text and they want to listen back to it, but they don't have a lot of time to do that, they can simply select the text and hit Audio Maker. So it's just this little page with the headset over the top. You'll see there, creating audio. And what that's going to do, that's just download it then into my drive. And if I hit play,
Gladiator fights were first introduced in 264 BC at the funeral of a nobleman.
And then students can listen to that text being read back to them. It's also useful, again, for you as teachers, if you're assigning work and you think maybe a student needs a bit like additional audio support with their learning, you can create an audio file for them to send alongside with their work. And they can then listen to that whenever and wherever they want to. We have our talk and type feature. So this is our scribe feature, which just allows you and students to be able to talk into a document and have that text be put onto the page. Again, this is something that I would use personally quite a lot. So I do think it's something that teachers could really benefit from using themselves. But of course, it's so useful for students. We've had students said this has been a game changer for them, being able to get their thoughts and their ideas down on paper whenever previously they've struggled with their writing. They had everything in their head and they knew what they wanted to say, but they struggled with the typing aspect of getting that information down. Having that talk and type feature just allowed them just to speak and have that information put in. So if I click here and I am going to just click the talk and type button, gladiator fights were first introduced in 264 BC at the funeral of a nobleman, Junius Brutus, full stop. So you can see there, it didn't pick up everything. We'll stop it there. It didn't pick up exactly what I said, but it was pretty clear. I mean, fritters and Brutus, but that's the thing. It's almost like a circle. So students can talk into a document, they can listen, say what their thoughts and get that out. And then they can just hit play and listen to that text being read aloud. And also, if they want to check any spelling, they want to check any grammar mistakes, they can then click on the check it button, which will check for any grammar or spelling errors. We go down here. And what you'll see then is it will give options. of different words, and they can have that inserted into the document. We'll check it as well. There's ways that it can be personalized. So again, students may, may want to have that check it feature available in different ways. So if we click on, you'll see there is the option for read check it suggestions on hover. So if we click that on and then we hit the check it button again, if I now click on a word.
Armored. Armoried. Armrest.
Students
Armored.
can listen to the word to make sure what they're actually selecting is correct, make sure what word they're trying to put in sounds correct. And again, all going back to that independent and giving students their own autonomy to learn in a way that works for them. And if we go back here, I'm going to remove this text, and there's a few other little features that I want to show you, and then we'll go into questions and answers. But a lot of the things that I've just shown you now are sort of the key tools that I really recommend introducing to students and really seeing, getting their opinions on it and just seeing how they use them day to day. So last couple of things I want to show you is the voice note icon, and then I want to show you the translate tool. So voice note just allows you or students just to add in a little voice clip into a document, and it can be saved there. So it's quite good for feedback if you as a teacher want to give sort of a voice feedback, a spoken feedback to students. You can hit the voice note button and insert that into a document for a student. Or again, if students want to give their own thoughts and feedback on something that they've maybe done a bit of work on and they don't have time to change it there and then, they can just click on that piece of text, add a wee voice note, and they can have that inserted into the document, so then they can go back to that at a later date. So if we say select this paragraph and hit voice note, you'll see there we've got a little microphone. If I click on this, and we can just do a little voice note, hit stop and comment. And you'll see there now, if I click on that, I can see there's a little voice note. This, and we can just do a little voice note. This, and we can just do a little voice note. I keep playing. And that's going to insert that into the document, and then you can hit tick, and that's away. So it's really good just for, again, going back to that independent side of things, but it's really good for teachers being able to give feedback to students as opposed to written feedback. Students may prefer to have that spoken feedback. One of the last things we want to look at is the translator tool. So with the translator tool, it allows students to translate words into a different language. So obviously really beneficial for EAL students or any students learning a new language. So if we go into our settings, and I'm just going to go into speech, and you'll see there's a translation option here. So we've got it currently set to Ukrainian, but there is, again, lots of different lots of different translation options there. But if we keep that on Ukrainian, and I'm going to close that, and I'm just going to double click on a word and hit our translate button. And what that's going to do is that's going to bring up the word and it'll bring it up in English at the top, so students can listen to the word being read out in English.
Gladiator.
But it'll also bring up the word in Ukrainian, and what that'll do is that'll read that word out but in a Ukrainian speaking voice so that the pronunciation is correct.
Gladiator.
So we can do that with any numbers of words. So if we click on this word here, we can
Revived.
Відроджена.
You can just click on words, and again, students can have that open at the same time. If they want, they can have the picture dictionary open at the same time. So now, whenever they're listening to that word, they can listen to it in English.
Гладіатор.
They can listen to it in their, in their home language, and then they also have a little visual aid just to let them know what that word is. So, conscious time, we've got about 2 minutes, well, about 7 minutes until we wrap it up. So last thing I want to show you is a very new feature in Read and Write. So it'd be great to get any feedback that you have after you use this. We feedback helps us every day. So anything that you can suggest, or if you think that there's something else that can be doing, please let us know. But it's the co-writing feature. So co-writing is a prediction tool, which basically works like sort of nudge theory, where it allows you to allow students to sort of type and have one word predicted as they go. So if I click on prediction, and if I just click here and I'm going to just start typing. Let's see. Oh. As I start typing, it's going to bring up a list of suggested words. We can hover over those words to have them read out loud. And as we finish typing the word, spell today. How can I not spell? You can see there, as I'm typing, it's just going to predict one word ahead of me. Now, the new feature, obviously, if you've used Read and Write before, you know that's not a new thing. Prediction's not a new thing. However, the new part of this is the topics button. So you'll see here that we have got lots of different topics which you can choose from. So, for example, if we were to select Ancient Rome, we can have that topic turned on. So now, whenever I go to start typing, I can turn that off. But you can see as soon as I sort of start typing G, it has picked up the fact that I've been working on ancient Rome, so it's going to bring up those words a bit quicker. So it's just going to have, depending on what the subject the student's actually learning or what they're studying, those topic banks will make word suggestions based on that. And that's how the prediction tool will sort of work a bit more smartly with students to help them with their writing. And just, sorry, I know I said this last thing. I've been saying that a few times now, sure. You have got the ability to change the toolbar now. It's a very new thing. So if we go into our settings and we go into general, you'll see there we've got our toolbar view. So again, this is just down to preference of students. Some students may prefer to have it just, sitting at the top of the screen. There's a vertical option as well. So students can have it sitting on the side of the screen. They've got, the dark and light mode. So again, they can select that, again, whatever they prefer. And we also have the writing option. So a lot of the times there is that stigma around using accessibility tools, and some students may feel a little uncomfortable using that in front of people. But with the sort of writing tool, if a student just needs to use it for that prediction, they can just start typing, and if they click on the little speech bubble, they will have those options, those text-to-speech option. They've got their topic banks. They've got the play button, which will read the text out loud. If we hit here.
His sons revived an Etruscan custom of having slaves fight at a funeral of a great leader.
So it just means that students can have that assistance and that support, but in a much more sort of subtle way, because it obviously just sits there at the screen. Can minimize that and just open it when and where they need it. So if we go back into settings, I'm going to go on to just my normal horizontal mode, and I am going to go back to the video. I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'll see if there is any questions. Sorry, I'm just having a look. I know that there is